Hey, Laura J with my man Jordan while he builds a home for a woman and her family, and I get excited and inspired about how we are going to actually start recording the stories of everyone who is actually the true players on the field of consciousness and conscience that we are here to man the field of. The field of consciousness, the field of conscience. There is no field of conscience, it's just what is conscionable, able to be conscienced through the senses that help us see whether we will be deceived by a dollar sign through the line of the S that becomes more than just a yes to something other than what was original. Do you see? I can't even tell you how excited I am for what is coming, and to say that the drilling in the back and the music and the wind and everything that is happening right now is all part of life as I'm experiencing it in the real world. You just get to see the virtual version of it, which was so important to me for so long that I actually lost sight of living the real life that the character you get to see plays. So in there, it's just a game. Here, this is where I feel the elements against my skin, which are the hues of me, not all of me, for there are many other organs within me than that. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are just one thing, one box. We can't fit everything that we are into one box. Why don't we start thinking about labelism like that? We start to see the one-dimensional identity that comes with the box we check and say, I am that, instead of all of this, that reflects that sometimes, but many other things also. For the personas of our personalities stem from our emotions, and everything that we pushed down previously and didn't solve the first time, we're going to have to resolve it within ourselves at some point. And so I believe it's just time for us to learn how to actually resolve it. So we can solve it the first time it shows up by having less of it to resolve after, in the trigger moment. If we can move that energy ahead of time, then when it shows up, we have less to resolve because we've already solved it. This is what we've got to learn about our emotions, and to see that the mental health act is the trap that keeps us focused on that one-dimensional identity or box of identity that we have taken on and believed to be true within the fourth dimensional construct of the mental plane, overlain on the 3D dimensional reality of me and us in this real world that has a two-dimensional counterfeit version of what is three, of me. There's a virtual or paper version of it, which is what the whole legal system is based off, and the Western philosophy movement that was said to be founded by Socrates, who was killed for impiety and corrupting the minds of the youth, as well as worshipping idols outside of what the empire adhered or required. He wouldn't fill the order. He said, no, I believe in all of it, not just what you say is it. So he was killed because he wouldn't submit. And then we worship the Western philosophy tradition that he founded, but his whole body of work was destroyed because he didn't write it down, he just lived it. And so then others wrote of him and the questions he asked them that inspired the change within them, which is exactly what I want to do with the series that I am creating and looking for characters to star in. Not as actors, but as yourselves. Do you see the beauty of being able to be our true and authentic selves as a virtual reality game, which is exactly what I've been doing with my channel, with over 1,000 videos on YouTube alone, and many more on Facebook. 3 of which got deleted from today, or yesterday it would have been, when I was first locked up and in Simcoe still, but today was the 4th year anniversary of when I got shipped to 10th floor, that I write in my book, Fully Committed, The Sacred Sojourn of Now, that I got published in 2022. I wrote about the experience on 10th floor St. Joseph's Hospital in Hamilton as my 10th floor nightmare, because the professionals lied to patients on that floor. There were no windows, so a patient asked in the middle of the night when I wasn't allowed to make a call, which you can do every 2 hours if you know the rules and you know the number off by heart, because your phones are taken away upon entry, so you got to remember it if you're going to actually call it. And then you have to make sure not to squander your social capital while you're in that crazy situation and people are reluctant to then trust you afterwards because of how you demonstrated yourself to be irresponsible according to professionals who are professional marksmen. X marks the spot, they always said. The Justinian Connection I wrote in March and published to my website with little interest. And then I took it even deeper just in the last 2 months while I researched and came to the importance of Socrates and Xenophon, who I've been listening to Memorabilia, which was about Socrates, and then also O Economicus, which is about household management and husbandry of resources responsibly, which is what it means to be a farmer. And I am a 5th generational farmer. I just mine the consciousness of man and hope to return the power to your own hand, to take up the pen and wield it wisely so you can actually put real people on notice instead of fictitious entities, such as what the suit, status, title, or personage is when we actually believe the one we are putting on notice to be the suit compared to the one wearing it. There is a big distinction, and when we get that clear in our heads and our hearts, it's game over for the game, because then we realize that playing it and finding a way to win it together without having to be the first one to win the basket and then decide who we wanted to share it with. We walked there together as a community, and then we got to share the resources abundantly and know that one another enjoying it was food for the soul, which is nourishment more than what a full basket of goods would be to eat alone and not have friends to share the pleasure with. So I look forward to coming to you again soon, and just wanted to say that it is a great day and I am excited to be at the point of putting everything I've been working on over the last decade to good use for the benefit of us all, without being in the scared side of the martyr, but the sacred one instead. And I do believe it's possible for the martyr to be repurposed to serve us instead of slant our perspective and tilt us into the victim position of the creative spectrum that became reactive when we stopped looking inward and instead put our power into authorities outside of us who are the authors of our own lives. Yay! I look forward to having more to say another day. Maybe later, in a different video, but this one's enough, as are you. And me too. So, woohoo! Lord J. Namaste! Namago for today.